Because it's the spookiest time of year, Halloween was last month after all, Big Finish have been doing a audio trilogy of Torchwood stories that are Ood themed. Last month we talked about Torchwood Odyssey, which starred Claire Rushbrook as Ida Scott, and now we've got the return of Zachary Cross-Flane from the Torchwood archives. He starred in The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit back in 2006. You may remember one of my first ever Torchwood reviews on this livestream was a Zachary Cross-Flane audio, Empire of Shadows. This came out, blimey, over 2 years ago, so it feels like this now Sanctuary Base 6 sequel trilogy with the Ood is sort of like walking in the slipstream of Empire of Shadows, written by James Goss like 2 years ago. One of the characters that joined Zachary Cross-Flane in the Torchwood archives was Chloe, who in the story was played by Amanda Sadeko, who is also reprising her role as Chloe in Torchwood Whodunit, which is one of the best pieces of wordplay that I've seen in my entire life. So this takes place several years after the events of the Satan Pit. Zachary Cross-Flane is still working with the Torchwood archive, and he hears a crime is committed on this waste disposal world called Paraglass 4, where all of the rubbish of humanity is thrown on this planet and it's treated and recycled on Paraglass 4. However, an Ood has killed another Ood. There's been a murder afoot, everybody, and Zachary Cross-Flane, played by Sean Parks, reprising his role here, is here to investigate. He questions Mr. Brackow, played by Paul Panting, who is the union leader leading the human crew who are part of this recycling centre. There's also Lady Drogba, played by Belinda Stewart-Wilson, who is the CEO who is in charge of Paraglass 4, and Zachary and Chloe are investigating why this murder happened. Why did this Ood die? Who would kill an Ood? What's the motive? We know who the actual suspect is. An Ood did kill another Ood. They were seen doing it, but why? We've got Silas Carson reprising his role as the Ood, and let's play a clip from Whodunit.
It's locked. Chloe! I can't see, but I think there's no Ood here.
You are incorrect. You are startled.
No, not at all. You were sitting in the dark.
We all are. We are decommissioned.
We? How many Ood are in here?
We are 54 units. Would you like to meet us? Stand, please. How may we help you?
Right. Okay. Can you open this door?
No. Our operator does that.
Right. Chloe! Chloe!
You seem to be in some distress.
No, I'm fine. Fine.
Are we standing too close?
No, it's fine. I'm Zachary Cross-Flane of the Torchwood Archive.
We are pleased to meet you. How can we help?
Well, actually, I'm here to help you.
Indeed.
An Ood was murdered, which is why I'm here to find out what happened.
We see.
Were you there when the Ood died?
It was a good Ood.
I love that Ood blinking sound effect. It's so visceral. It's such a good sound effect. And like Silas Carson is terrific as the voice of the Ood. It's this weird, like, unassuming but creepy friendliness. And as you can tell here, Zachary Cross-Flane is still quite traumatized, is the word, from his encounter with the Ood with Red Eye in The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit. It's a nice like continuation of his character, and there's also some pretty interesting like class-conscious commentary happening here on this recycling world, where you've got these unionized workers who hate the Ood because, you know, they're super obedient and they love working, you know, they're super loyal and faithful and such, but they work on like a fraction of the wage, and that has issues with like the human workers who are there. But then you've got those who are in charge that actually, in order to like upkeep and look after the Ood, we lose money on adopting them and we've got so much paperwork to do around them and such. And there's also some tension between the human workers and also Chloe, who is a synth who was working with Zachary Cross-Flane. And Chloe is a bit of an interesting character who I would love to hear more from. I actually feel like Chloe is a character who you could drop into like the modern day Torchwood stories, because she is a synth. Maybe her consciousness has been downloaded to different places and stuff, but it's a really creepy performance from Adam Shadeko. And I also think that you're always on the edge of your seat whenever she's around because you don't quite know what her deal is. But when it comes to the story itself and the tension, there's some really interesting and cool set pieces here. And they are quite tense because when you have a modern day Torchwood story with, let's say, like Yanto or Tosh or Owen and such, you know that they're not going to die in this story, because their deaths happen on screen, traumatically so in many cases. But for Zachary Cross Flame, like, this is years after the Satan Pit. Like, he could actually be offed at any moment here. These are quite tense situations, and, you know, the continuity and the canon of Doctor Who would not really be disrupted by the death of Zachary Cross Flame. No disrespect to the character. I think Sean Parks does a great job here. But it, you know, the sort of distancing from the mainline Torchwood stories over the course of this trilogy adds an extra element to the stakes, and it means they can be a bit more experimental about it. I think that Whodunit ends on a bit of a weird, like, everything, the bow tie is a bit fixed a bit too perfectly at the end, you know, it ends a bit too cleanly for my own good, but it has fun with the staples of, like, you know, almost like he died in a locked room. How did that, it's quite similar to the Paternoster Gang story that I reviewed last week. But we know who the killer was, but what is the motive? What's the bureaucracy happening in Paraglass 4? Why is it called Paraglass 4? Did the union workers have the motive to do it? Well, they have the motive to do it because they don't like the Ood there taking their gerbs. Stuff like that. There's some interesting class consciousness there. And of course, Lady Drogba is the real, like, bourgeois who everybody should be hating. But does that mean that she's a killer? Who knows? It's a cool story. It is basically an hour-long mystery with a insecure, traumatized Zachary Cross Flame being the vector for it, and because the Ood have some telepathic abilities, it means that they can, you know, play a little bit fast and loose with what reality is happening around Zachary. Is he actually hallucinating stuff? Is there, you know, are the Ood really being creepy? Are they really trying to kill him to stop him from getting to the center of this conspiracy? Whodunit is a solid whodunit. That's basically it. Nothing more, nothing less. Some really interesting character stuff, moves along at a good clip, is a solid mystery, some genuinely creepy moments, and some terrific sound design. Some great music here as well from the Chad Blair Mowat, incorporating some motifs and some themes from The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. Solid release. It's good. It's good. It's good. Good. Good Ood story. A good Ood. Well, that's good.